Okay, so I decided that I'm gonna start this and see how this goes. Because I think this may run longer than I want to go. Because it's 8:30 now. Problem I always run into is I try to do more than one a night. And usually the second one comes out so bad, or I've had too much to drink by that point, that I can't convey what I'm trying, my points like that. But I'm gonna start this one. Only because about halfway through my drink, and it gives me a little courage. Let's just say that. Let's preface this. Preface. Let's preface this. And I'm not going to go great into detail, but there is another video I think where I said all of this. So I'm going to try to keep it briefer, just in case I went into detail with the other one. But timeline of my spiritual beliefs. I was basically forced into Christianity growing up. Not that I think that's a bad thing all the time. I made some great friends and learned a lot of good lessons. However, I also ignored a lot of things too. So I was kind of blind faith, I guess, just running out there for the good Lord and Savior. And that was pretty strong right up until, it was more of a personal thing up until my sophomore year of high school. Like, up until then, I even though I was never really given a choice of another religion or just not choosing religion, I still was very happy with the life I had up till then. The friends I had, the things I've done, or whatever, at that time. It wasn't until probably my senior year, or junior year going into senior year, it was the summer. Tim Minton, who was the youth pastor at Winter Street Baptist Church at the time, was leaving for personal reasons. I won't get into that. And so, it's nothing like the Catholic Church, nothing like that, just family stuff. So, I remember this new guy was coming in, Jason something or other, and I expected him to reach out over the summer just to connect, because I had been working as a youth leader for the junior high and kind of just like helping out there. And I was still going to senior high, but it was my last year, and I was having fun, whatever. But that summer going into senior year, I remember feeling very excluded. I had dyed my hair blue, it's what kids do, they just change at a certain age, and parents, I think, sometimes look too deep into things. Like, it's a passing phase most of the time, and you gotta protect your kids, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know. Do what you want to do. Don't listen to me, because I don't know. I felt like this turn, like this moment within the church where, like, all the older families and stuff, not all of them, but a lot of them, like, I felt just like cold-shouldered all of a sudden. Like, what's going on with this kid? He must be on drugs or something, which that would come in a few more years, thanks to them. And I do owe them a thanks. But I at that point, I just chose to not be a part of that church anymore. Honestly, I think I was getting to the age, I was actually considering leaving Massachusetts and going out to California, and then my grandmother got sick, and I ended up staying until I was I stayed up until 30 or whatever it was. So I had left church, and I was kind of just, not agnostic. I was still a firm believer in everything I was taught growing up, and it wasn't until, I'd say, it was moving here, I'd say. Oh no, I did tell this story in the other video, so this drastic change, refer to this video, or this video. This video. I hate that, but now I see why people do it. It's kind of fun, because later on you get to see the effect. I need to do little sparkles and stuff. So, stayed a firm believer up until probably a few years ago. Had a falling out. With someone close about their beliefs and my beliefs, and at that point I just said, you know what, this is not for me anymore. I need to see what else is out there. And I'm still looking, you know what I mean? Like, I'm still out there. I mean, I guess if I had to make a choice, if someone had a gun to my head and said, what do you believe? Actually, I really don't know. I guess I'd have to take the bullet, to be honest. I mean, I'm on the fence. Like, I have a hard time thinking that... you know what? I refer to that other video again. Let me just read a few quotes out of here, and then I'll go back and talk about them. If you don't have any interest in this, let me know in the comments, and I'll stay away from politics and religion. But I'm gonna run out of stuff to talk about, I think. Well, no, I guess I could tell personal stories of growing up. What's the statute of limitations on crimes? Or am I? That's a damn fine drink, Mr. Oliveira. So, those of you who don't know, Sam Harris is an atheist, an author. He speaks a lot at, events and colleges and conventions and so on and so forth. And he seems a little angry to me. I'm sure that there's something personal going on there. Actually, I think he does speak of it somewhere in one of his books. This is a good one. I'm actually going to start this a little earlier. We're already at 7 minutes, man. I know how to gab. I could get into a gabbing circle for days. If there was ever a gab off, whoo, dog. I'd enter that contest. I can gab. You want to gab? Come on, let's go. Let's gab. Motherfucker. Okay, so... the quote I have highlighted, and I guess I was angry too at the time, so keep that in mind. I'm not that angry person anymore. I'm still a little pissed, but Muhammad also assured his followers that Jesus was not divine in the Quran, 571 through 75, 19, 30 through 38, and that anyone who believes otherwise will spend eternity in hell. So here we go. We've got two religions. You could debate the age of each religion. I think, what is it? I think Islam is a little bit of a younger religion, but nonetheless, I don't see where that really matters. Like, historically, it's easier to prove or disprove, I would say, than something like Christianity, which, even that. Let's not get into that, folks. But it starts this. Consider, every devout Muslim has the same reasons for being a Muslim as you have for being a Christian, and yet you do not find their reasons compelling. The Quran repeatedly declares that it is the perfect word of the Creator of the universe. Muslims believe this as fully as you believe in the Bible's account of itself. There is a vast literature describing the life of Muhammad that, from the point of view of Islam, proves that he is the most recent prophet of God. Okay, let me just clarify this by saying I am not a part of any church, any religion, anything. This is just, I'm reading out of a book, something that struck me when I was reading it. I'm not saying I believe what I'm reading. I'm just saying that this is something that made me think, and I thought it'd be nice to share. Whether you're religious or not religious. It kind of gives you a little inside glance into the world of religion, especially if you haven't been there. I grew up in it. He really knows how to pick them, too, when he's going back to the Old Testament and stuff. The thing is, there's so many different kinds of Christians. There's the, car in the garage Christian who, just because he's sitting in the garage doesn't make you a car. They go to church on Sunday. They barely stay awake through the service and can't wait to go watch football when they get out. And I don't blame them either, because I like football. So then there's the middle of the road who maybe actively attend church services and things throughout the week, and they firmly believe. They go home, they pray, they read their Bibles, they do whatever, and their friends are mostly Christians. Then there's just like the extremists, like, I guess there's probably some degrees, but the extremist is somebody like a Ken Ham, who actually the first time I saw him speaking was on Ridiculousness, which I don't like that movie. Mainly because I feel like he's just attacking these people for their beliefs. And that's no better than, them doing it to you. Or what's that church, the one that pickets all the funerals? Gwen would tell me, because she's a little activist. Or wishes she was. And those are the ones that scare me, because they're the ones that believe in these crazy things, like a 6,000-year-old Earth and a literal flood and, all this stuff that, I mean, even, what was it? Pat Robertson, after the debate with Bill Nye, came out and said, please, come on. You're giving us a bad name. Like, stop it. He scolded him or something. I was like, all of a sudden, like, this guy who I can't stand most of the time, well, I can't say can't stand, but most of the time he annoys the hell out of me when he opens his mouth. All of a sudden he's on the right side. It's just like, what? That's why just religion's just crazy and silly, and it evolves and it goes away, and we worship sun gods at one point, and when we get out of the trees, and I mean, who would want to worship the sun? It's pretty cool. All right. The Old Testament. I'm just going to read part of this. Oh, maybe I won't. Maybe I'll read all of it. No, I'll do this one. God's counsel to parents is straightforward. Whenever a child gets out of line, we should beat them with a rod. Proverbs 13:24, 20:30, and 23:13 through 14. If they are shameless enough to talk back to us, we should kill them. Leviticus 29, Deuteronomy 21:18 through 21, Mark 7:9 through 13, and Matthew 15:4 through 7. So let's just, you got it in the New Testament and the Old Testament there. Up the front and up the back. Woo! We must also stone people to death for hearsay, adultery, homosexuality, and working on the Sabbath. Worshiping graven images, rolling on Shabbos, practicing sorcery, and a wide variety of other crimes. Damn it. I gotta go stone my gay friends to death. This sucks. I apologize now, but I've got a bag full of rocks and I'm coming for you. That's rough. If a man does not abide me, he is cast forth as a branch and withers, and the branches are gathered and thrown into the fire and burned. Awesome. Thanks for creating me and then throwing me in fire. That's awesome, because that's what I need. I mean, let's go back to the fundamental question of, did I ask to be here? Like, I am not responsible for your shit. There's a little anger coming through, alright? I apologize. I'm trying to stay zen these days, man. Actually, I can't stand Taoism, to be honest. I'll get into that later on. And I apologize, because I know some of you are, but man, I just gotta leave a mark. It doesn't matter, I know, but it's just the ego taking over. Alright, so we gotta stone my gay friends. Consult the Bible and you will discover that the creator of the universe clearly expects us to keep slaves. Leviticus 25:44 through 46. I'm not gonna read it because we're already at 14 and a half minutes. Another video. Oh yeah, I probably have a white Russian all in my beard and mustache. The Bible makes it clear that every man is free to sell his daughter into sexual slavery. Now I know where that money's going to come from. Good. I can pay off a few bills. The only real restraint God counsels on the subject of slavery is that we not beat our slaves so severely that we injure their eye or their teeth. Exodus 21. I mean, there's some good stuff in here. Comedians should dig in here a little bit more. There's just one more that I really wanted to share. I have so much highlighted in here. So much good material. Good talkings, if you guys want to hear more of it. I guess I could just do a whole... Maybe I'll do a second playlist of... I don't know. I'm talking out loud now. Alright, let's see. Now this one, this is one of the best quotes in this book. And you don't have to be against any particular religion or for anything to accept this is your moral ground. Like, if you think it would be impossible to improve upon the Ten Commandments as a statement of morality, you really owe it to yourself to read some other scriptures. Once again, we need to look no further than the Jains. Mahabharata, the Jain patriarch, surpassed the morality of the Bible with a single sentence. And I agree with this, and I've shared this with Christians before. Do not injure, abuse, oppress, enslave, insult, torment, torture, or kill any creature or living being. Imagine how different the world might be if the Bible contained this as its central precept. I mean, that really sums it up. Like, you can look at the Ten Commandments, if you really want to break it down, I don't think the Ten Commandments hold as much weight after the Sermon on the Mount. I believe it's there where he says, love your neighbor as yourself and the Lord God with all your heart, blah, 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 blah. That, at least the first part of that, makes a world of sense to me. Like, just love one another, And I know that sounds so hippie or whatever, but the dude abides, Seriously. I'm not trying to kid around now. I mean, well, I guess I am, but, what's so wrong with peace and love? I just don't understand why it isn't, our currency, our foreign currency. Our current currency. That's a tough one. It's a tongue twister. It's like if you stand back away from your beliefs or your political, spiritual, whatever you believe, if you could just step back for a second and go, replace all that with peace and love. How awesome would life and living and earth and I don't think we'd even have money. I think we'd all just contribute and help, and I don't know, maybe not. Maybe there'd be that one guy that was just like, I could take advantage of this. And I'm sure there would be, but it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that if we happen to have been created, this is where we've ended up. And obviously how I most likely believe is, we're an evolving species, spiritually, emotionally, physically, I'll show you my mutant abilities later on, but the government is watching. So, and that's why I say, in the last two videos, I've said, go make somebody smile, that's cool, man. As silly as it sounds, you should. You should tomorrow make a stranger smile. How awesome would that be? I think that's great. And I guess I've been doing that for a long time, at work at least or whatever. I feel like I confront every stranger trying to make them happier. Not just with their shopping experiences, but just in their day. It's nice to have somebody who's not overboard, but somebody that's nice, wait on you, or serve you food or something like that. Sometimes I think it's a little too much, but nonetheless, making people smile, spreading peace and love, I just think that's important. That's the most important thing in life, I think, Okay, so that's video 2 for the night. I may post these over the course of 2 nights to save myself some time to edit, because it's only 8:48. So, here you go. Check this out.